everyone, and welcome back to my Lawn Bowls for Fun channel. I'm at my new bowling club. Yeah, I think you probably know from previous videos I've done, I've had to change my indoor bowling club. I'm now at Camberley rather than Rushmore, which I was with for many years. It no longer exists. Today what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the difference between the different biases you get and an indoor bowling surface. This bowling green is much faster than my previous bowling club, so my bowls perform differently, and I just thought it would be interesting to show you the difference each bowl has on a bowling green. And we set the green up and we're going to send bowls down on exactly the same trajectory just to see where they end up on the green. So this is the slide we're going to be using today. I don't know whether this is a homemade contraption. I don't know whether you buy them or whether they're just homemade, but it does the job. There are various locations you can place the bowls on here, depending on how far you want the bowl to run. There we are, these little pegs here. Okay, there are 4 different locations. And what you do is you place the bowl here, push that stopper up, and then when you pull that down, the bowl then rolls, which I will demonstrate. Right, so here we go. These are the bowls we sent down. You can see that my narrow ones, the Defiance, didn't actually get to the centre of the green. My 2 Drake's Pride, actually one is nearer and one's further away. I probably didn't have that one on the chute in the right position. The other 2 Drake's Pride are over here, which have come in a bit tighter, but not a great deal of difference between that and the Defiance, surprisingly. But the 3 sets of bowls that have taken more green, we've got the yellow Internationals, Taylor Internationals over there. We've got 2 Taylor Blaze, and then 2 Aero Sonics. So they've taken a very similar green, really. So it's not a massive difference. We didn't move the chute at all. We left it in the same position. And you can see there's probably a variance there of about probably 2 meters width as to how much they've come in. But there we are. It just shows you that you do need to take more green, therefore, with these bowls, the yellow and the orange ones. And the Drake's Pride Professional are very similar to the Defiance, which is quite a surprise. We might try that again. Maybe I'll have another try at that. There will be a little bit of difference if I don't put the bowl on the chute properly. They may vary slightly, but in theory they should all end up in the same spot. Here comes the first one. These are the bowls that I'm currently using indoors here at Camberley, because I'm often skipping and I find that I need to bend round bowls if there's things in the way. That's the first one. Put the second one up. I'll do all 4, just in case there is a slight variance. There might be, because you can't put them on the chute absolutely identical to every bowl. You try to, but there we are. That wasn't too bad. They're in the same place. Right, so you can see that all those 4 bowls have ended up together. One slightly further to the right or to the left from where the camera is, but it's pretty good grouping. So you could argue I'd have to change the position of the chute if I wanted those bowls to be more centre of the rink. Right, let's move these out of the way. The next four we're going to have come down are my Defiance bowls, which take a narrower line, but not a great deal of difference. That one dropped a bit short. That was similar length to the others. Right, move these out of the way. That were the four Aero Defiance bowls, which are supposedly slightly more narrower than my Drake's Pie Professional. So I'll just remind you that we're not moving the chute at all. So these next bowls that are coming down should in fact come across a lot more than the others have, which there we are. That's a good start. These are Taylor Blaze bowls, so they take a much wider line, and because we've not moved the chute, they're going to come across narrow. Now obviously if you were bowling, you would try and bowl a little bit, a fraction wider, so they ended up more centre of the line. But we'll say we're not moving the chute at all. We want to see where all these bowls end up. And if our theory is right, the yellow and orange bowls are all going to be slightly narrower. That one dropped a bit short for some reason, but they're all lined up pretty much the same. My able assistant is doing a grand job down there. Now these are Taylor International, so they will come, they should end up about here, in theory. Yeah, they're just running on a little bit, but they are, again, like the Taylor Blaze, they've come, there's a much wider line. Right, let's move these out of the way quickly. The last ones that are going to come up. These are Aero grooves. So these are taking quite a wide line as well, similar to the Internationals and the Taylor Blaze. Yeah, see, they're all ended up roughly the same place. They're all about a foot, if you like, to the left of the T mark, whereas the Drake's Pie Professional and the Defiance are about a foot to 18 inches to the right. Yeah, very good. So look at that, the difference between those actually. There's about 2 feet difference in the width there, but that's because we haven't put them on the, positioned them on the chute in identical positions.
Probably a better, you get to see the little groups more, don't you? You can probably, probably get a still of each of them, can't you, and sort of put them.
I think that the positioning on the scoop, on the chute, is very important. If you get it slightly different, and that's the variance, but they're all there or thereabouts. They're all within 2 feet of each other.
That's the line of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just take your average of whatever.
Yeah, so the average for these is here, and the same for the Taylor and
the Internationals and the Blazes.
The Internationals and the Taylor Blaze. They're all sort of
went a touch more on the Blazes.
Touch more, yeah. They were more probably the centre one would probably more like here, but only about a foot difference. But the Drake's Pie Professional and the Defiance were over here, so we didn't get any that actually ended up right in the middle.
That's normal.
Did we?
Pretty standard practice. It is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, that's interesting because really between all those the yellow bowls, there's not a great deal of difference, is there?
No, you got the blue and the purple was sort of that side of the rink, and the orange and yellow
they
for
were
this
side of the rink. Yeah. So I don't know.
So it's all about colour then. That's what we decided.
So the what?
It's all about the colour of the bowls. That's what makes the
nothing
difference.
Nothing to do with the bar. It's just the colour of the bowls by sheer fluke.
You want bendier bowls, get brighter colours.
The big surprise for me is my Defiance bowls.
Yeah, they move more.
I really expected them to be out here.
I still don't know what happened to my Professionals last week because they were massively different.
So the last thing we're going to do is we're going to send one of each bowl down. We're going to start with my Aero Defiance. So this is my Aero Defiance, which I consider to be a better indoor bowl than outdoors, or better on a fast surface, because they don't bend a great deal. And I expected that to end up to the left of the centre line, which it has. Next we've got a Drake's Pie Professional. This should be nearer the centre line, in theory. It all depends on how you position it on the chute. I think you have to be careful that you don't, that you do put it in the same position. Now that's ended up virtually the same position as the Defiance. Now the next three should all be to the right of the centre line. This is a Taylor Blaze bowl. There we are, as predicted, it's ended up to the right of the line. Now we have an Aero Groove bowl, which again should be very similar to the last one. It should end up to the right of the centre of the line. There we go. And the last one is Taylor International, which should in theory be the bowl with the widest line. So therefore it will be somewhere near those two orange bowls. There we go. Yeah, so that one has gone slightly, well, no, actually there's hardly any difference, is there? So the Defiance and the Drake's Pie Professionals are very, very similar. And the other three, the Taylor International, the Aero and the Taylor Blaze, are all very similar as well. Okay, just a couple more things that I should have mentioned. The one thing about the line that you take, obviously indoors it's a lot wider than outdoors. When you bowl on grass, obviously the bowl slows down much quicker than you would do on carpet. I don't know whether you've noticed, but outdoors if you play on a bright and sunny day, the bowl runs a lot faster and bends a lot more than if it's just been raining, because the bowl is slowing up much quicker. And if it slows up more quickly, it's not going to bend as much. So on a carpet indoors, the bowl will just keep going and going and going. And when it starts to slow down, it's still got a long way to go before it stops, and therefore it bends a lot more. Now that's pretty obvious, but if you didn't know, then you know that's the explanation. So on a fast green, not only does it bowl faster, but it will bend a lot more as well. Which is why, if you bowl indoors, you don't necessarily want really wide bowls, because you have to go a really long way with them, although some people bowl with them very, very well indeed. And outdoors, you do want wide bowls, because on a wet day, especially in the beginning of the season, when there's hardly any bend at all, because the bowl's pulling up really, really fast, and therefore not bending very much, you have to go almost straight down the middle of the rink. So that's just a quick explanation as to why on a fast green or indoors, the bowl is not only going to go a lot faster, it's going to take longer to slow down, and it will therefore bend hugely compared to outdoors. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. I thought it would be interesting just to see what my bowls do, and we had 2 bowls that bowled sort of fairly narrow and 3 bowls that were a lot wider. In fact, we never had a set that went right on the jack. That's because we did that on purpose. We didn't want either bowl going too far either way. It will be interesting to find a set of bowls where on the ramp where it was, they ended up centre of the rink. There's a couple of sets of bowls that would do that, but all you have to really do is just judge that line a little bit. On the colour bowls we used, you needed to go a little bit wider, obviously, and on the Drake's Pie and the Defiance bowls, I would just bowl slightly narrower than we had the frame on the bowling green. Right, so I hope you enjoyed that. See you again soon.